So, yeah, guys, we are doing a recipe day. Again, we've been doing so many of those guys recently, but this one is really cool. And I mean, arguably, they're all really cool, but this one is one that has been heavily requested for quite some time by the Sudsers on the YouTube channel, where you are right now. But also just from my regular Sudsers that are shopping my inventory all of the time. They're always asking when this is coming back in stock. And since I've been rebuilding the website and determining what products I want, moving forward for the next little bit, I decided to go ahead and make a whole bunch of these and make them a part of my permanent line until I get bored making them again. So I'm excited for that. And you get a recipe, so maybe you're excited for that. I will tell you what that is in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 257 of 365 days of soap, and today we are doing the mechanic soap, and I am giving you a recipe. Now, a mechanic soap, I think I've done on the channel before. We are mixing it up a little bit for this particular recipe, and I'm going to tell you why we're mixing it up, but you are going to be getting a recipe for a mechanic soap. Now, the biggest things that you're going to want to keep in mind when you're making a mechanic soap are going to be, you want obviously that big, awesome bubble, but that bubble can be hard to achieve when you're putting in copious amounts of a scrubbing agent. To that, the bubble is going to really come from the coconut oil because you actually do want to cleanse really well the grease and the stuff that comes from, stuff that mechanics like to get into with their hands while not wearing gloves. I'll never understand that. Anyway, let's go to the video. We can talk about this recipe and this soap and why it's awesome, there. Hey, Sudsers, how's it going? There's your recipe. Stop, screen cap, do the thing. But also notice that there's only 15% coconut oil in this. Why, you ask? Well, because I'm testing a recipe that I made on the fly a couple days ago when I was talking about coconut oil in soaps and what percentage you should use coconut oil at. And at the end of that, I basically said you should use a lot of it because trying to make a soap with other ingredients that do not contain lauric acid but still provide a bubble or sustain a bubble gets to be complicated and pricey, really. And then I decided to go ahead and put my money where my mouth is because I have never on this channel given you a soap that does not contain either copious amounts of coconut oil or copious amounts of babassu or, I don't actually even mess with palm kernel, but you get the idea. Babassu is almost identical to coconut. So that's what we're doing today. We are testing the recipe that I made on the fly in my brain for a good bubbler. But because I know that I'm working with a mechanic soap, which can be really difficult to dial in all of the good bubbling because you're putting, well, a crap ton of like pumice in this particular recipe. I also upped the ante by including sugar in the lye solution. Now, another way to up the ante would be using, instead of water as in the lye solution, using a beer. or a wine or aloe vera liquid, whatever. I didn't do that because I didn't have any beer or wine or, well, I had the sugar, but not the aloe vera liquid. Didn't have any of those things. So I'm doing this, which is already a very overly complicated recipe. What's in this? Like 5 freaking oils? I don't like complicated recipes. You guys know that. I like recipes that work and are reasonably cheap. This also, for the record, I think we are due like a new live just talking about pricing on oils and stuff, because the last time I talked to you about pricing on oils, I basically left you with, don't panic, everything's going to be fine. And it's not fine, you guys. Things are getting weird. So we might need to update that information, soon. Yeah, because this recipe on a good day was going to essentially double my oil cost just on a regular day. Right now, because avocado oil is very, very expensive, and so is castor oil, weirdly, and also shipping prices are through the roof, it tripled my cost of oils for, this particular batch of soap. So that's another reason why I like coconut oil, because coconut oil prices have remained reasonably stable. So the only thing that we're actually really contending with coconut oil is extra shipping charges, which it all kind of works out in the wash. But I wanted to try this recipe just because, again, I just came up with it while I was talking about coconut oil, but probably to prove a point that coconut oil is really, really important for the big bubble payoff. Now, that's not to say that this recipe isn't good. Sorry, I gotta go pick up the kids. This recipe is good if you're into a little tiny tight bubbles and, very moisturizing bar, which obviously you want in a mechanic soap. Like, you want to strip away all of the grease and all the things, but you don't want your hands to feel dry at the end. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and test out these soaps. Now, I let these soaps set up in the mold for about 4 days. So granted, the lather is not going to be where it's ultimately going to fall at the end of, cure or losing water weight or whatever. But it's also going to be a very good representation of what it is. And my other mechanic soap recipe that I gave you that contained copious amounts of coconut oil, not drying, not by any stretch of the imagination, and also had a really big, beautiful bubble, which is important because that cleansing, when you're dealing with mechanic soap, certainly for sure, is going to be the thing that actually strips your hand of all of the gross things that you're touching without gloves, which I still don't understand with mechanics. Why don't you guys just put on gloves? You humans? Why don't you just do that? I don't understand. But anyway, let's test this out and see what we're working with as far as the lather goes. And already off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I do quite remember in this test that it has a very nice moisturizing feel on the hand, which is good. And also, we are dealing with hands that are clean and not covered in, because it's not just a mechanic soap, right? This is also a very good soap because of the exfoliation and the cleansing and all the jazz for like gardening and stuff and all the stuff that ends up underneath your fingernails, and you get it. And it felt good on the skin, but it felt a little bit too much like, not quite as bad as like a 100% like a Castile soap, because I hate those things. I hate the sliminess, but it was getting to that point. Like, okay, it's overly moisturizing. Coconut oil, cleansing, that's not a bad thing. But, if you like a super moisturizing bar, this is also a really decent option for a mechanic soap. because it definitely delivers the moisture and still, cleans the skin. That is day 257. And there they are, the new Mechanic soaps. And yeah, they actually discolored like a mother. So whatever scent blend I used in this that I was not expecting to discolor, super did, because they are all brown now. And my vision of Mechanic soaps are usually, because I call it the whetstone, so a nice like gray stone color, get it? And that didn't happen with this particular batch, but that's okay. That's okay. These all went to my neighbor and some of my favorite sudsers that were messaging me and asking when things are coming back online anyway. So I had to make a whole bunch more and change the blend so they didn't discolor. So there's that. But ultimately, the scent blend doesn't super matter. What does matter is, again, your oils and butters that you're putting in, as well as all of your extra additives, your pumice, your all of the jazz, to make sure that, again, you have a very scrubby cleansing bar with a really big bubble that is not going to strip your hands and be drying. And that's what this recipe is. So you should try it. And if you like it, let me know. For those of you interested in buying it, I would like to say that the website is back online, but I don't know at this exact day and time whether I've managed to do that yet. Hopefully, soapandclay.com is back up and running. As I said, I'm not sure, but we'll all find out together on the day that this is released. So it's like a crazy fun surprise thing. Yes. If you're interested in seeing what else we do, more recipes, all the jazz, subscribe, like, share, comment, all the things. Helps keep me going, helps the channel out in huge ways. And so, yes, for those of you who have helped the channel out in huge ways, thank you. Sudsers, you are amazing. I love each and every one of you, each and every day. Today is no exception. And I am out of here. But I will see all of you guys again tomorrow for a deep dive round of soapy fun. Bye.